What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about why do dealerships suck. So on my Instagram, I post pretty much what is the most hot topics that you guys want to talk about in the automotive industry. And a lot of people kept chiming in with why do dealerships suck? And so I decided to put a questionnaire in there. I'm like, okay, what questions can I specifically answer to help you formulate a conclusion? And boy, did you guys deliver. Over 200 messages. A lot of them were pretty negative, but the ones I can put on YouTube, we are going to post. But if you don't follow me on Instagram already, make sure you do it at Lucky Lopez. And let's go ahead and get into these questions. So the very first question is, why do dealerships lie and advertise price and not get in trouble? So when it comes to making a false advertisement claim, there's a lot of things that go into factor. Unfortunately, a lot of dealers use deceptive practices, but are not technically illegal. So if they put, hey, I got this Nissan Sentra for $18,000 flat, you know, they usually have one model out there. They usually put the stock number, but the fine writing is so tiny, you don't see it. And the car's been sold from, the beginning of the month. You show up on the 22nd with the same ad campaign saying, hey, I'm here for the $18,000 Nissan Sentra. And then they tell you, unfortunately, there's only these $20,000 to $25,000 ones available, and you're going to have to pick one of those. Also, with some of the stuff that's called sales pricing, they'll put a sales price, but does not include fees. And I'll go into this a little bit later because there's a lot of questions about fees. And they lie about everything. They don't include all these extra costs that basically seem like they're deceiving people and tricking them into coming in. So unfortunately, it's very hard and a slippery slope to get a false advertising claim. Next question is, why do dealerships always want to run your credit as soon as they get there? Now, there's this terminology in the car business. It's called buyers are liars. Majority of the people that come in to buy a car usually lie about everything. Oh, I got an 800 credit score. I got $30,000 down. I'm the man. You should give me the deal. The reason why they want to run your credit is they want to see where you fall in line. They don't want to start negotiations on a brand new G-Wagon when you can barely afford a used Kia. Now, there's a correct way to do this. We call this actually like real sales work of pre-qualifying your customer. So if I walk up to you, I'm like, hey folks, what's your name? How long you've been here in the United States or in Las Vegas? That lets me know how long you've been here. What do you do for a living? Oh, I've been a plumber for 20 years. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this guy's got a good job. And so it's things like this that help the salesperson and the dealership know if the person's legit. But if the salesman is not doing his job, their fallback is, give me a credit app. Give me a credit app. I don't care what you're saying, just give me a credit app. And that's just being a lazy salesman. Next question is it true that dealers will lose your keys and hide your car when doing a deal? Now this one's pretty funny. If you've ever gotten your car traded in during a deal, they usually take it in the back, service will look at it, the sales manager will look at it, and we determine a value on your vehicle. But unfortunately, there's a lot of shady tactics that go on behind the dealership. Sometimes just to keep you in the box to try to go over numbers, they hide your car behind there. So they're like, oh, we're doing the estimate, the mechanics are looking at it, and they just keep going over numbers trying to see if they can get you to go up on your price or up on your down payment or whatever the case is. So usually what they do is they hide the car in the back, or oh, the sales guy put the keys here and then he went to Starbucks. I'm so sorry. Give us 10 minutes. He'll be back here soon. In the meantime, would you like to renegotiate the deal that we just went over? And they'll keep doing this over and over again. I don't really recommend it. It makes the dealership look bad, but unfortunately, it's a very common sales tactic. Next question is, why do dealers add a million fees? Now, this is something that's getting really, really bad, and this popped during the pandemic. This is kind of going hand in hand with false advertising. Now, dealerships always want to put the lowest possible price online because they know most consumers won't actually compare apples to apples. It's just the lowest price. That's what they want. They don't care about the features, the model. They just want the cheapest thing. And I understand this, but this is the downfall. Basically, dealerships are praying, knowing that most consumers are dummies. And so what they do is they'll put in there, okay, my sales price for this car is $30,000, but all the other Jeep Wranglers in my area are $35,000. The reason why they add all these fees is because this is the legal way to get to where that $35,000 sales mark that they can technically do. So what do? $2,000 recon, $1,000 marketing fee, $1,000 delivery fee, my child support fee, salesman has a coke and crack addiction habit fee. So they add all these fees up, basically adding it all the way up to $35,000, just like the rest of the cars in your current marketplace. And this is something that dealers are doing. This is why I hate Car Gurus and a lot of these websites, because they literally incentivize dealers to put fake prices online. I used to put my prices of what the car was and all the fees. The only things I couldn't calculate is sales tax and doc. That was it. depending on what state you were buying, if you're trading in, those were the only things. But I put all my fees up front. And I was always the most expensive one, and people would talk trash. But at the end of the day, hey, when the customer came and I told them my car was $19.99, it was $19.99. Next question is, can a dealer change the sales price in the contract? Now, there's a few ways. I'm not sure how this guy meant it, but basically, if they change the price on your contract, it could be because you have maybe a new car and there's incentives. So the car's maybe $55,000 and they give you a $5,000 rebate. So now they told you the sales price is 50 grand, but they have to put on the actual paperwork 55,000. But the other way is basically the dealership screwing you. You would not believe how many people don't take the time to read the paperwork that they're signing. It's absolutely ridiculous. I've done this for years. When I pull out my contracts, okay, folks, you're paying this is your interest rate, this is this, and they're just like signing away, not even looking at what I'm pointing at. And every once in a while, I'll say, you have payments for eternity, and they're like, oh, okay, they just keep signing. Even me making jokes, trying to make light of, you got 72 months to pay off this used car at 18% interest is not a good deal. They still don't care. They just keep signing. So dealerships sometimes will try to sneak things in because once you leave, it's very hard to basically back out of that contract, especially when the deal is funded by the bank. So I strongly advise when you sit there and you're getting your contract, go through it. And if you don't understand something, ask. Because remember, if you don't ask and you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So let's just go ahead, ask those questions, get your answers, and make sure that you're on track, not getting screwed. All right, next question is, why do all salesmen act like they want to be your friend? Well, unfortunately, it's sales 101. You need to build a rapport with your customer. Now, a lot of this stuff could be feeling maybe a little bit forced, like they're rushing into it, but you have to remember, you walked into my sales lot, I literally got 3 to 5 minutes to learn a little bit about you, your job, pre-qualify you, stuff like that. So I'm trying to do as much as I can to learn about you. So if they're like, oh, what do? You have family, you have kids? You may think they're trying to be super buddy-buddy with you, but in the meantime, they're trying to think, okay, why is this guy looking at Corvettes when he just told me he has 5 kids? Is this a second car? Do you need a car for your family? Well, it's not like a Corvette, let's look at the Tahoe. So all these things usually feel that way, but there are a lot of salesmen that come off a little too cheesy, a little bit too fake. I tend to tell more jokes. So I always make, just random things, kind of break the ice. It's usually a lot better than brown nosing or just kind of getting up in people's business the awkward way. It makes them feel uncomfortable. So that's why a lot of people feel that salesmen try to be like your best buddy within the next 5 to 10 minutes is because that's what they're trying to do. Okay, next question is actually a really good one. Are all salesmen on commission? Now, they're always going to say no, but that's absolute bullshit. No matter what automotive company they work for, whatever dealership, they're always on commission. What they'll do is they'll give you a base, which is like minimum wage, but then every time you sell a car, you get a commission, and whatever's greater, your minimum wage or your commission. So technically everybody's on commission, whether you're a CarMax, AutoNation, Sonic Auto Group, Ford, Chevy, Honda, Toyota, it's all the same. I don't even care if you're selling vacuum cleaners, door-to-door knives, you are on commission. So just remember, all salespeople, there's an incentivized for them to actually sell you a car. So when I hear CarMax, oh, there's no pressure sales, bullshit. If they don't sell any cars, ask anybody that works at CarMax. You will get fired, just like every other car dealership. So don't believe the hype. All salesmen are commission based. So the next question is pretty hilarious. Why are all dealership owners foreigners? Now, I hate to say it, it's kind of true because when I first started in the industry, there was a lot of Americans and a lot of older guys, and as they retired, all the younger guys were pretty much foreigners. So majority of the people that were my age literally weren't from this country. So I think there's 2 reasons behind that. One, the car business is something that you can make a lot of money on and not have a college education. I remember this guy that lives down the street from us, he closed his dealership, I think, right before the pandemic, but he was a civil engineer in his country in India. But when he came to America, they would not honor his degree, and so he couldn't even get any type of engineering job. So he winded up selling cars just to get by, and he winded up making more money. So instead of going to college for 4 years, he decided to just open up a dealership and sell cars. So there are a lot of those factors coming in. It's a very easy way to make money without a college degree. And unfortunately, sad to say, there's a lot of Americans that are taught in school not to be a business owner. You want to be an employee and work 9 to 5. That's just the mentality of today's workers, unfortunately. So I think this is why you're seeing more and more foreigners owning car dealerships, because unfortunately that's just the way it's going. But hopefully more Americans watching my channel will get into the automotive industry. The whole purpose of this channel is to obviously teach and share and everything else. So if you get a chance to join our online group, we love to talk about pretty much everything automotive. If you want to think about opening up a shop or a car dealership, rental car company, body shop, whatever it is, we want to get as many people in, because the more educated people we get in, the better the actual market gets. Because when we have all the dummies, we have what happened during the pandemic, everybody paying crazy prices. Now, the next question is a hot button. Why do dealerships do markups so high? Now, there's a few different ways what they mean by markup, I'm assuming. So there's markup where it's over MSRP, which we saw a lot during the pandemic. Usually this is reserved for cars that are rare or unique or a limited model. But unfortunately, during the pandemic, everybody was, buying everything. And so even regular economy Kias were getting, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 over MSRP. But the reason why a lot of dealerships tend to do markup on used cars, unfortunately, is because of the market itself. I know this sounds weird, but hear me out. So if I'm going to sell a car for $10,000 and it's worth $10,000, I'm going to price it for $12,000. The reason is because if you come in with good credit or bad credit, we can negotiate on the price, go down a little bit, because everybody feels like they got to get the dealership down a little bit so they feel like they won. That's just the way it is. I used to put flat pricing, my bottom pricing, and people still would try to beat me up on it. So dealerships will build in fluff. On top of that, another reason why they mark it up is if you have bad credit, the banks charges fees to buy your loan. So if you come in, you have a repo, bad credit, you haven't paid your student loans, whatever else, and the bank looks at me and they're like, hey man, we're gonna have to charge you $1,000 to buy this loan because this customer's not that good. That eats out of that $2,000 fluff or that markup that I put on that vehicle. So when you go around and you're looking at cars and you're saying, wow, all these cars are still overpriced, they cost too much. Remember what I told you, a lot of that is just built-in fluff to offset if you have, maybe you're upside down in your car, you have bad credit, or you're just one of those people that want to negotiate to basically the wit's end and ground all the way down to get the cheapest price. That's why they build that markup in there. So remember, nothing is written in stone when it comes to car sales. Oh, now the next question is a really, really good one. Can a car dealership keep your down payment after killing a deal? Now, this is very important. I want everybody to listen to this. If you have a deal that falls apart or the dealership takes back the car, they cannot keep your down payment, not even a cent of it. It's actually illegal. If they do this, you can go file a report with the DMV and they will force the dealer to give back your down payment. Unfortunately, it's true, but it sucks. I've had people literally lie to me on a credit app, give me a fake check, give me like $2,000 down, take my car, drive it across country, beat the hell out of it. And when I repoed it, I still had to give him back every single dollar that he put down because he did not fulfill the transaction. There's a lot of consumer rights. Unfortunately, it screws the dealer, but there are a lot of people out there that do this on purpose. They'll literally give somebody a down payment and drive the car, beat the hell out of it, knowing they can't get approved, and then just come back and be like, okay, well, you got to give me my money back. And they're hoping that the dealership doesn't, and then they wind up getting sued. But if a dealership ever says, oh, we're going to charge you a fee, a restocking fee, a cleaning fee, they are not allowed to do it. Now, if you sign some sort of paperwork afterwards, that's your fault. Basically, you just agreed to doing that. So if this happens to you, or if it did happen to you, go to the DMV, report them, and you will get your money back guaranteed. And if this has happened to you, please chime in the comments section. I'd love to know what happened. Now, these next few questions are all income-based. How much does a car salesman really make? Now, this is something that's really on a variable scale. If you are a good salesman, it just depends. I've had people selling just regular cars, American, Japanese cars, making anywhere from maybe $5,000 a month all the way up to $25,000 a month. I've known people that sold exotic cars that made $2,000 a month because they can't sell them. The commission's really big when you do, but you're waiting forever. So I have a friend here in Vegas. He works at a Kia dealership. I won't say which one, but shout out if you're watching. And make a long story short, he clears about $25,000 a month in sales. It's absolutely ridiculous at a Kia dealership. Now, you may be wondering, why is he doing this and how is he so good at it? Is because he is a real professional salesman. He knows everybody's names, everybody's birth dates. He's barely at the office. Like, he sends out letters and birthday cards. So if you buy a car from him 5 years from now, he's sending you letters in the mail. He'll remember your dog's birthday or your cat's birthday, whatever it is, sending you cards. And then every year or two, hey, are you ready to upgrade? Is there anything you can do? Do you want an extended warranty? He's always looking for those future sales. And when he comes in, like I said, a lot of times he's not there for very long. He comes in, has 2-3 customers, shows them cars, most of them are sales, does the paperwork, and he's out again. So those were the old professional sales guys that were around back when I first started. Real professionals building real rapport that usually once they sold you a car, they were always your car dealership. Remember, like, you have a favorite dentist, a favorite bar, a favorite restaurant, maybe a favorite band. Once you find something that you like and you enjoy, you tend to build that relationship further and you build that trust. And this is exactly what this gentleman did, and that's why he's so successful. Where in the meantime, you can go to a Ferrari McLaren dealership and these guys act like they're balling out with some fake Rolexes, thinking that, that they're showing off, but in all reality, they're probably making minimum wage and they're broke as hell. So don't believe the hype. Salesmen do make a lot of money, but I think you make a lot more money if you're a little more honest. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some shady ones that I know that are complete scumbags that make a ton of money, but that's just kind of the way it is. The next question is, all salesmen and car dealerships are scumbags? Change my mind. He even put the little meme, which is pretty hilarious. I understand everybody's frustration with the car business, and I'll kind of leave this as my final question. The car business has been really bad for a lot of people. I remember reading a study actually done, and this is a real thing. I'll see if I can find the link. People would rather have their teeth pulled or a colonoscopy than actually go buy a car at a car dealership. That's pretty bad. Now, usually most Americans make 2 major purchases in their life. They either buy a house or a car, but this is something we're a part of everybody's life. And that's the way I treated it. This is a major milestone that I should be grateful enough to be a part of, and you picked me to share that occasion with. So I treat that as something kind of special. I know that sounds cheesy and maybe over dramatic, but it's true. But unfortunately, there's a lot of dealers out there that lie and deceive. Now, believe it or not, I know it's gonna sound crazy, not all of them are like that. A lot of people seem to like me. I don't think I'm a bad person. I think I'm relatively a good dealer and a decent guy. So there's a lot of people just like myself that are out there that are trying to help people. But unfortunately, we get lumped in with the bad. That's just the way it is. A few bad apples ruins the bunch. Same thing with the car business. So am I gonna say that all dealerships are great? Hell no, there's a bunch of scumbags. I know dealers myself that would step on their own grandmother's throat to save $1. That's how ruthless they are. But on the other end, I have other friends of mine that are probably some of the nicest human beings on earth. I have a buddy of mine that literally does buy here, pay here, and this guy gives out free payments for Christmas. So I don't know anybody else that will basically wipe away $10,000 to $20,000 in a month of December just to help out people and their families during a holiday season. And this is what this gentleman does almost every other year or every year. Is a really great guy, and I think he's been doing it for over 20 years. So, there are some good dealerships out there. There are some good salesmen out there, but unfortunately, they're not there. So my advice is when you go to a dealership and you talk, try to be friendly and be civil, because if you're new to my channel, I'll tell you a quick story. I get this all the time. People walk up to my dealership. It's my job to help you. So I walk out, hey folks, how can I help you? What are you looking for today? Don't bug me. I don't want to be sold. Screw you. Don't try to sell me anything. Just rude right off the bat. If somebody tells me, hey, you know what, we just want to look around, okay, no problem. I don't hover. I just get out of the way. I go back in my office or move somewhere else. So before you guys do something like that and piss off, basically the person that you're going to be negotiating with when you want a car, try to be a little more friendly. Oh, sorry, folks. We're just, we're looking at cars. We're just checking stuff out, whatever else. Because like I said, you never know if that dealer is the good guy or the bad guy. But I tell you this, if you give them the opportunity to be nice and they wind up being a shitheads, they'll show themselves really quickly. So anyways, I'd love to know your comments in the section below, all the crazy horror stories you guys have had at dealerships, and why do you think they suck? Also, if you've had good experiences with dealerships, I'd love to hear from you also in the comment section below, because I think it's important to show 2 sides of every coin. Also, please follow me on Instagram. We do a bunch of funny stuff. I ask questions all the time. We're going to try to do these weekly Q&A sessions on YouTube, but our live ones are on our group. So if you want to follow us there, it's automotivelife.com. We do weekly Q&A sessions and answer funny questions and basically just have a bunch of people talking trash. It's pretty hilarious. Definitely sign up and join. And I guess that's it. We'll see you guys next video.